haven't really heard anyone talk about this potential risk.
Bilal, we love talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy holidays to you, Bilal Hafeez, Macro Hive CEO and editor. Thanks very much. This is Bloomberg.
It's time for the Bloomberg Business Flash, a look at some of the biggest business stories in the news right now. I'm Ritika Gupta. Royal Philips has agreed to buy US-based biotelemetry for $2.8 billion. That lets the Dutch company expand in wearable heart monitors. Demand is surging for Philips equipment that allows doctors and nurses to provide real-time care over the cloud. Verizon is likely to shake up an auction of 5G airwaves. The offers have already surpassed $21 billion, and Verizon itself is expected to put up $20 billion. The company needs more spectrum to compete in the dawning era of ultra-fast mobile connections. And Sony has removed one of the year's most anticipated gaming blockbusters from its PlayStation Store. The problem? Customers are furious about bugs and performance issues in Cyberpunk 2077. The Warsaw-based developer of the game has offered refunds to disappointed players. Cyberpunk features Hollywood star Keanu Reeves as an in-game character. And that's your latest business flash. Guy?
Ritika, thank you very much indeed. So, my kids are not really into this yet. We're still more Minecraft and Fortnite. But I'm told by the line producer of this program, Alex, that this is a really big deal.
Yeah, apparently.
I had to check.
Go ahead.
No, I had to check that it was a really big deal, and I'm told it is a really big deal. And it seems that the analysts were caught on the hop by this as well. Nobody expected Sony to respond in this way.
Yeah, and there's like big numbers attached to it. First of all, let's thank Joe, Nicole's fiance, for imparting us with the wisdom, because my daughter's into nanobles. So basically, you take a look at, say, the overall sales for a CD Projekt. They have annual sales of about 8% that's attributed to services, which they were trying to make off of this game. You take that away, it's going to take them anywhere between months, 3 to 6 months to fix it, and it really decreases their ability to ramp up these service revenues that they need to do, and it's really bad for that gamer.
Yeah, absolutely. This studio has got a lot invested in this, and the refunds are really quite significant. The fact that they've gone that far really tells you everything about Sony and the relationship it's trying to form with the people that use the PlayStation Store. Basically, the outcry has been so great that they felt they had no other option. This is a really big deal. Nicole also informs us that this is more of a deal for the 4 rather than the 5, but nevertheless, obviously a huge deal for Cyberpunk. We'll show you the share price in just a moment and give you an idea of what is going on. This is Bloomberg. The close is next. Welcome back. That's it. We're done for the week. The European equity markets are closing up. We're going to go through the auction over the next 5 minutes, but let me give you an idea of what the session has looked like. The Stock 600 down near session lows. We've been fading into the close. There's a lot of risk to be carried into this weekend. We're going into a liquidity light environment. We've got witching today to factor in. Then you've got obviously the stimulus talks over in the United States. Still don't have an outcome there. We can see a shutdown of the US government, and we still don't know what's going to happen with Brexit. We'll talk about Brexit in more details in just a few minutes' time. This is what the week has looked like, though, a little bit more positive on both sides of the Atlantic. The Stock 600 up by 1.5%. The big gains coming early on in the week. Since then, we've been in a relatively tight range. In terms of the individual markets around Europe today, let me show you what the FTSE, the CAC, and the DAX have done. All negative, all down by roughly similar amounts, I would argue. We've got the FTSE and the CAC down by around 4.5%. The DAX down only down by 0.2%. Actually, autos have had a relatively strong week this week. In terms of what the sector story has looked like as well, let's just show you what has been happening there. This is the picture on the session. And as you can see, we've got industrials and the auto sector continuing to outperform, which is why we've seen outperformance from Germany today. Retail, real estate, travel and leisure bringing up the rear. One stock that we were just talking about just a moment ago, this is a session chart, doesn't really capture the gap lower that we got a little bit earlier on, but CD Projekt out of Warsaw certainly being hit as a result of the PlayStation decision a little bit earlier on to withdraw its game. That was the impact on the stock. Actually, earlier on in the session, it was down by even more, down by around 90%. It's rallied a little bit off the lows, but nevertheless a big hit. Just want to wrap up as well with what's happening in other asset classes. Brent positive on the week today. Brent positive on the session, up by 1.11%. But we have seen a little bit of a return of dollar strength today, which may tell you a little bit about the risk profile of the period we're about to enter, and maybe the dollar catches a bid. And again, this is a consensus trade that the